Welcome. This is the Progressive Mind Show. We are glad to be coming your way this evening. My name is Senna, aka Alinko. And yes, you are welcome to the #1 community building show in the entire world. This is where we engage you and I in conversations that are designed to make our community a better place. If you will just join us, we ask that you share the feed on Facebook and on YouTube. This evening, we are going to be talking to great people. Of course, the theme for today is Kings and Queens of Africa, the journey of atonement. We are going to be talking about unity to the Caribbean and the Americas. During this evening, also on the bill is Dr. MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW, who is not a stranger to the show. And so we would want to get straight into the thick of things. Before then, we will take a short break. When we come back, we shall definitely be talking to these wonderful people. Once again, we urge you to share the feed on Facebook and on YouTube. We will not be able to take Captain Mike's segment due to a very busy work schedule. And so we would like to go straight into our discussion this evening, but we can't do that without taking this short break. When we come back, like I said, the show will continue. Please stay tuned. This is a Progressive Mind Show. Welcome back. Like I said, it is a great day today. Well, it's all smiles on Dr. MELIDA because we have been talking about this, planning this for some time now. Her dream of coming with something that would be of benefit to the global world, specifically more so the African continent and the Americas, has always been something that I've admired, and she has been working tirelessly, and we are honored to have her once again on this platform to be discussing this wonderful topic. And Her Excellency and His Excellency Paul. Okay, I'm trying to mention the name separately. Okay, so please bear with me. Is His Excellency Paul EGANDA and Her Excellency Grace EGANDA. They are both the owners, I will say founders, of AIDO Network International. Paul is the founder and president of AIDO International Network and AIDO Network International, and then Her Excellency Grace is a co-founder. Now, I just want to go a little bit, I just want to let our audience understand a little bit about their background. So Paul EGANDA is, of course, as I mentioned, the founder and president of AIDO. He is also known by his full name as Ohiniba Sompahine Prince Afram II of Suma. He's a visionary leader and mission to unite the African kingdoms to regain their rightful position of authority. His Excellency Iganda has also led so many humanitarian missions and causes, and has successfully campaigned in human rights, especially in child slave, with successful turnaround with African governments. He also has lobbied at the UN and African Union on policy and humanitarian agendas. He has become a voice for the voiceless, for the silent African voices. His Excellency is also a system engineer by profession, a creative artist with over 25 years in media and creative industry. He holds an MBA from University of Birmingham, UK, master's degree in systems engineering from IUA America, and APDMS in management studies from London College of Economics, UK, bachelor's degree in information systems, FDA degree from University of Sunderland, UK, and professional diploma in performing arts from Makerere University. So he's not only a king, he's also very academically sound. Is also very academically sound, and so we have to take note of that. Typically, our kings, we don't get to know this part of our kings, and so it's very important that we understand his educational background too. A very intellectual gentleman, king, a very intellectual king. I'm not used to interviewing kings, so please pardon me. Today's my first time, and so I asked you to bear with me if I make any errors in addressing His Highness and Her Highness this evening. Now, Her Highness Grace Iganda, whose wife who's a queen, is also co-founder, like I said, of AIDO Network International. She is an educator and a champion for children and women's rights. She's a teacher by profession with BA Hans in education. She has led various community development initiatives in Africa and in Europe, and she is committed to promoting culture as a tool for unity and social progress. She's married to His Highness, of course, Paul Iganda, and by God's grace, they have been blessed with 4 beautiful children. Now, to the next guest, Dr. MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW. She has so many accolades. So because of time, let's just leave it with this. She is the founder and CEO of the 6th Global Chamber of Commerce. I think that is big enough and it's good enough. The rest, she'll probably tell us. Well, Your Highness, you are welcome to the Progressive Mind Show this evening. Okay, I think somehow your mic muted. So yes, okay, we're good now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senna. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Her Highness, Grace, I am glad to have you on the show. You're looking very beautiful by your king.
Oh, thank you very much. It's an absolute honor to be here on this platform. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Dr. MELIDA, once again, you're welcome to this wonderful platform. Now, let's understand. No, I'm sorry. I think your mic was off too. So let's get it.
Thank you very much.
Great. Okay. So now this evening, we want to look at the theme for today. So let's get to know what AIDO is. And I'd like to start with His Excellency Paul Iganda. Now, in addressing what AIDO is, you may also feel free to tell us some of the unknown facts about Your Highness and Her Excellence, Her Highness as well, if I missed something. But please take this moment to introduce to us what AIDO Network International actually stands for.
Thank you very much, Senna. As you have already introduced me, my name is His Highness Paul Jones Iganda. I am the president of AIDO Network International. We are an NGO. AIDO briefly stands for Ateker International Development Organization. Ateker here means a nation. That is my tribe where I originate from. Ateker is a major tribe in East Africa. In that tribe, there are sub-tribes, and mine is called the Iteso tribe, which come from Eastern Uganda. So the organization took the first A to mean people and the nation. So AIDO basically stands for three things: unity, development, and social progress. Our motto here is to try to use culture as a vehicle to bring people together. When people are together, they do something. So for AIDO, our model is to work with cultural leaders, chiefs, kings, queens, and opinion leaders from different parts of Africa to achieve our purpose. So our model is definitely not what other organizations normally do.
Okay.
So I think that is one unique thing about what we do as AIDO. So I would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to bring in Dr. MELIDA, and maybe this is why we're having the same interview together. That lady of wisdom, a visionary, and as you said, a queen of Africa, she is. So,
yeah,
AIDO with Dr. MELIDA's seem to share the same dream. So that dream is what has brought us together. So at the moment, as an organization, we are spread in about 9 countries. We're in Ghana, we're in Uganda, we are in Kenya, we're in South Africa, we're in Cameroon, we are in Togo, we're in the UK, Germany, and the US in Chicago.
Wow.
So all this is to try and bring together our brothers and sisters who live in the continent, who think like us, to bring the coalition of the willing to do something for our continent. This is exactly where we meet with Dr. MELIDA Harris. So together, the two organizations came together as a memorandum of understanding to form a partnership. And we were joined together by one vision, one spirit. How do we work together to support our people?
Excellent, excellent. I want let's before we invite Dr. MELIDA in, I'll like Her Excellency Grace to, chip in a little bit. Like I said, when I was introducing you, I had to say what the public knows about you. What would be unique about your family that you want to share with the community? Because as kings and queens, sometimes we wonder if you are in touch with your people, and so we want to also know that aspect of you. Like, what do you like to engage in when you are not at the palace, taking care of your responsibilities? What are some of the social things that you personally all like to engage in? If you don't mind responding to that, Her Excellency.
Oh, thank you. As leaders, most of the time we are engaged in community activities. Leadership really is about service, and at all levels and at all times, you have to put your foot forward to stand in the gap for whatever needs to be done. And one thing we do encourage wherever we go and in whatever we do through our community engagements is the support and the promotion of our culture through events, through gatherings, through and most of our areas of interest and activities in our engagements in the community rotate around culture. Okay. So we are mostly keen on community development, and we are constantly thinking of what projects we can put forward, what we could begin. It's all about the spirit of Ubuntu, the spirit of togetherness, of love, of friendship. So most of the things we do rotate around that. That is the spirit that surrounds our social life, I would say. So that is, I think the spirit of Ubuntu wraps it all. That is really the principle guiding our social life,
that is
bringing everyone together in love.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful to know, because again, usually the notion for regular people is that kings and queens, or maybe they are high up there in their palaces and they are detached from their people. So it's very good that you mentioned that you are involved in the community doing social work, and that is what you take pride in. That's your passion. You are not just there as leaders giving directions to people. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Dr. Melida, His Highness has mentioned that their main partnership with you is as a result of them sharing the same vision. What is that vision? And if you can also tell us what you represent as the president and founder of the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce. We're having a mic issue today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm having a mic issue today.
It's all of us. It's all of us.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank His Highness and Her Highness for actually listening to the vision and acting on the vision. The vision is this: connecting Africa with the Caribbean, with Latin America, which is the Americas, because the vision is actually the African community, kings and queens. I think it's time now for us to unite. I've tried this actually with governments and it didn't work. So I thought about it. I said, you know what? Let me approach the kings and queens. They're going to always be there. And the vision is this: we need to connect. We need to atone. We need to unify with each other. So when I spoke to His Highness, I said, I think now is time for Africa, for the kings and queens to go and atone to their lost children. The lost children are those that was taken from Africa by force to enslave them through the transatlantic. And many don't understand that we are still going through pain. And I do believe that the kings and queens can come to our region and atone, unify, talk with each other, because it's been centuries that we were taking. And we find ourselves doing so many things, trying to do business with each other, trying to bring that culture forth. But I think one of the biggest things that's missing is healing. It's the healing that's important. So when I spoke to His Highness and Her Highness, and I said, now is the time. Now is the time to take that baton and come to our region and talk to our people. You see, our history started from slavery, but there are many of us that held on to like 40% of 30% of the history of Africa. I think the time, the vision is now. The vision is coming to our region and atone and unify. Let's do business together. And he agreed. They agreed. And once they agreed, I was the happiest woman in the world. And I said, let's do it. That's why they're on this show today.
Okay.
Because they're on this show because it's time enough for us now to promote the vision. Promote the vision, you see. Because His Highness, EGANDA, I just want you to know, I've never found anyone like you and Her Highness that embrace this vision the way you are embracing it. This is such an amazing mission. And every time I called both of them and I said, we have a show to do. Where is it? Let's go. And that alone gives me more power to go out there and embrace our brothers and sisters. And these are not just the brothers and sisters that was taken from Africa. This is the whole 6th region. This is all of us in every region in the world.
Okay.
So I want to thank you, His Highness, for accepting this vision.
Thank you for eloquently helping us connect, your relationship. But I also want you to establish to our audience who may not necessarily, because you mentioned the whole 6th region doing business. Your organization is a Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
There are other Chamber of Commerces. We've heard some in Chicago, probably some Illinois, others around.
Yeah.
What is your organization? What does it stand for? And how different is this one to the other Chamber of Commerce? Because people are looking up to it, right?
Yeah.
In this era, in these days, you and I know the diaspora is looking for a very credible and reliable chamber or an institution or organization that can help them channel their energy towards the right nations or the right regions, which in this case happens to be the Americas, Africa, because they are developing a continent or communities, regions, right? And so there's a need for people to want to channel their resources. So you come in here and so help us understand the core mission of the Sixth Region and how different you are to the others.
Actually, most Chamber of Commerce, they deal with businesses.
Okay.
And so forth. The Sixth Region Global Chamber, for those of you why the Sixth Region, and to make your audience understand, is that the African Union created the Sixth Region. Africa has 5 regions. The Sixth Region is all Africans outside of Africa. So I've decided the Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce will be a community, not just to do business, but also to bring us, people of African descent from all over the world, to come and join us, because this mission is to unite and empower Africa's sustainable economic development through strong partnership and positive reconnection of the people of Africa and its descendant, including, listen to me carefully, including the indigenous people worldwide. So our vision is to transform Africa into a world-class economy. And I know it can be done. So we also have women's program, youth program. We are going to be trading between Africa and the Americas and the Caribbean and the world, not just Europe, China. We created the bridge for you to cross over now, for you to work with us. I'm talking Africans, to work with us in our region. This is the first time in history that this has ever happened.
Wow, powerful. You are watching the Progressive Minds show live on Facebook and on YouTube. We are indeed honored to have His Excellency and Her Excellency Eganda on the show this evening with Her Honorable Dr. MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW. This is a dynamite, a group of people here on this platform, and we are hoping that you are following the conversation. Please feel free to send in your comments, as some of you have done. Also, remember to share the feed if you are on Facebook, so we can get this word out. In a moment, I will be reading some of your comments. A lot of them have already come in. We will definitely be looking into that. So, of course, we're talking about the kings and queens of Africa, the kings and queens of Africa. But this evening's specific show is about kings and queens, a journey of atonement. The journey of atonement is something that we will be going into very soon. They have mentioned it, but we would like to know the details of why should there be an atonement. There are some who say yes. There's some who probably don't even understand the concept. And so we would like to go into that today. And the underlying that is unity to the Americas and Caribbean. What does all that mean? What is all this theme and discussions leading to? But again, during the show, if you stay tuned, you would get the core of what we're trying to convey this evening. Is it even necessary that we do an atonement? And as they mentioned, we will try to get more wisdom and explanations from them. Now, excuse me, I wanted to know, His Excellency, in your bio, it seemed like you have, because it says you are Asomahene, and that is a Ghanaian chieftaincy title, or the Ghanaian name. So what is the connection there? Are you also king in a let's say traditional area in Ghana, and can you help us establish that? I think yes, today's a mic Mike.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much for the question. As by the nature of my work,
okay,
I bring kings, queens, and kingdoms together.
Okay.
My organization has got a network of about 745 kings and over 1,000 queens as AIDO network members.
Wow.
In some of the kingdoms, my work has been recognized, and I am installed, yes, as Sampohene,
yes,
my kingdom,
right,
by His Royal Majesty King Afram III. So that is my senior. So yes, I am also installed. I am installed in Suma. So that is where that title comes from.
Wow.
So my work cuts across different kingdoms. As I've already explained, our work is to bring all these kingdoms together. So in some cases, I look like the headmaster
of kings.
Yes. Now, we work together. We are a network.
Right. So great. You are a network of kings and queens, and you are the headmaster, if you can put it that way.
No, my organization brings them together because, yes, we're a coalition of the willing. So I lead as the president of this organization.
Okay. How long has it been in existence?
This is our 3rd year in existence. And we've grown from a few, we are nearly about 2 million members worldwide. And we keep growing day and night. Of course, now we are going much bigger with the 6th region coming in with our brothers and sisters from Americas and the diaspora. So we continue growing, especially with our mission and the coalition of the willing.
This is brilliant. Now, Her Excellency, you reside in the UK, but your jurisdiction is also in Uganda and elsewhere in Africa. How are you able to manage, your people, your jurisdiction, your kingdom, the affairs, the cultural issues? How are you able to, manage all of this, including handling the handsome His Excellency Paul and your beautiful family? I know it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Thank you. That is a very good question.
Yes.
Mr. Senna. As I told you earlier, AIDO exists in all the countries I've mentioned. In Ghana, we've got a chapter headed by a fully blown chapter with the structure in place. In Kenya, the same. In Uganda, in South Africa, wherever there's AIDO, there's a structure and a network of kings that work with us. That's why it is important that this journey of atonement, AIDO will be able to pull it, because we are able to select a king from each country to represent that country for this particular journey. So our network supplies us with that. I don't need to be in all those countries, but the heads in those countries, they're either kings, queens, or church leaders. Like in Ghana, we've got Dr. Reverend Benate, who is a reverend lady heading over, but supported with the kings and the queens in the board. We have all this in all the other countries. So when we meet together, we have got a fully blown executive of royals, non-royals, and Christian leaders. So this helps our work things happen.
That is powerful. Her Excellency, how you are the center of all this. You make all these things happen. And so I would like to know from you how you are able to manage the stress because this is a huge organization with an organization with a membership of 2 million. You are a force to be reckoned with. So, Her Excellency, you being the backbone of all of this. If I'm correct, if I'm not correct, please correct me. Okay. But help us understand how you are able to handle all of this.
As His Highness has said, the beauty about AIDO Network is the structures, because leadership is not about doing everything yourself, but for an institution to be effective, there has to be systems and structures in place.
Okay.
And as His Highness has said, AIDO Network has systems and structures that go right to the grassroots. So, and these have proven to be very effective, because much as we work through the cultural leaders, our aim is to reach down to the people on the ground, because they are the ones from whom our heartbeat really, you know, I would say is. So that helps a lot. And the feedback is always effective, and the services always reach out. And of course, besides the pandemic, we are limited in a way. But regardless, also the virtual, the technology has helped a lot. That even in times like this, when we are tied down, we are still able to engage with our people. You know, if it's an educational program we are putting forward, we are still able to, you know, make sure it's ministered. And if it's a health support, we are, you know, streamlining down, especially during the pandemic. We had to support with things like PPE and, you know, the water issues. And always, as His Highness has said, through our cultural leaders. But everything goes down to if it's hospitals, the hospitals, if it's schools, the schools. So the structures in place, I believe, have helped us be effective. But not only that, the team of leaders we engage with, their commitment to serve and the love of their people is what I think has also helped realize the vision.
Thank you. I also wanted to know how you have been using your office as Her Excellency in helping with the African girl child development, because we know the struggles in that area. We also know that some of our traditions and customs have kept women under the radar, African women under the radar for a long time. And I know that you have been working on this. So can you please help elaborate what AIDO Network International, with specifically your involvement, have been helping in these areas?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Linko. That question actually is one that is so dear to my heart, not just as a leader, but as a mother. When you talk of the girl child, I'm thinking of my daughter. I'm thinking of, you know, our children, I would say. So as AIDO, one area that we have strengthened is our youth department, which caters for the youth and the young ones as well. And the programs, initiatives that we have implemented in all our chapters to support the young people. So, of course, as we have said, the girl child in particular has been left behind over the years, and we are just trying to do catch up. And that does not mean we are leaving our sons behind, because the boys are the men as well as the leaders and the fathers of tomorrow. And we are bringing them along.
Right.
But focusing on the girl, if I might say, who has a lot of catching up to do, we try and bring up different programs that we think can affect and move them forward. Right. For example, we have a water project still going on, because we realized one of the things holding the girls down is the water issue. Water is a matter of human right, it's life. So, but if a child is going to be traveling miles to get, you know, minimal amounts of water that are affecting or limiting their learning, their education. So we've been lobbying, and it's something we are still working on, just making sure that people have access to water, and clean water, not just any water. And we are blessed to have a resource. It's not every nation that has fresh water. We are blessed with good resources of fresh water. So I think it's only right and fair that our people can tap into that and benefit. But the other thing that is key for the girl child that we've been advocating is education. We've been saying, let the girls learn. Because as you know, these girls, it won't be long and tomorrow they will be mothers. And we all know that as women, we have a key role to play in our community. We are the torch bearers. We are the mothers of tomorrow. So we are mentoring these girls and telling them, daughter, you can make it. My daughter, you are worth it. And so that is the role, the youth arm, and also the women's arm in AIDO, that we are trying to make sure that we are impacting one at a time. As you know, my brother Linko, the harvest is wide. There's a lot of work to be done, but the laborers are few, the hands are few. But that's why we're encouraging everyone to come in. But as AIDO, we are committed to the cause. And we have said, even if it means reaching out to one at a time, we are committed to it. And I'm believing that we shall realize the change that we so desire to see.
That is powerful. Thank you all for letting us know, detailed information regarding your work in these areas, which is very important to all of us. So you're still watching the Progressive Mind Show. Now I'd like to know from Dr. Melida, what has been your challenges so far in coming up with this vision, knowing that it's not easy organizing the diaspora, and let alone going to the Americas, the Caribbean, the Africa itself. It has, we know. So tell us some of the challenges you faced so far, and how you have navigated it, the challenges you envisage, and how you plan to navigate that. And then the same question will go to His Excellency and Her Excellency. Please go ahead, Dr. Melida.
I think, I have to say, I am going through some challenges, but not as I expected. I think things are going very, very smooth because I think I'm trying another method and how to do business with each other. What I've done and what I'm doing, for example, I've connected with AIDO Network International. They know people. They are working with people already in that zone in Africa. So I don't want to reinvent the wheel. And that is some things that we always do. I think what we need to do now is collaborate with each other. I'm taking that step. And also in the Caribbean, I've created a branch in the Caribbean in Curacao. So they know the culture, they know the language, and so forth. So I'm only dealing with one person per region. So they know their people, they know the business in those regions. So things thus far are going smooth. The only thing now is when we're introducing the business method of what we're doing, that might be the challenges, is the mindset. The mindset, for example, in Africa, they have been doing business with Europe and China and everywhere else. Not in the Americas, not in the Caribbean, not even in Hawaii, not even in Fiji. So what we are doing at the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce, when we're talking with our colleagues, we're letting them know things has to change, because what Europeans have done is that they have colonialized Africa, left the culture there, and the culture continues. So we're still behind. They're 100 years ahead of us. So we have to change the mindset. If we don't change that mindset, we're not going to go anywhere. So when I'm speaking to His Highness and I'm speaking to Her Highness, I'm letting them know what is happening today. And sure, we have the culture, we have the protocol, but I think we have to adjust those things in today's time. So those are the challenges that I'm having, but it's not like I thought it would be. Now, bringing people together in the Americas and the Caribbean, why is it not difficult for me? Because I speak Spanish and I speak English. Okay. So though when you're connected with the culture already, things are going to go smooth. So I'm speaking their language. When I go to the Caribbean, guess what? I'm a woman from the Caribbean. When I'm in Latin America, I'm a Latina. So in other words, what I'm saying is,
when you're in Africa, you are African.
Exactly. Like you say, I'm the queen of Africa.
There you go.
Then so be it. So no, when I'm walking with His Highness and Her Highness, they are teaching me and I'm teaching them. And I think that way we have to work together. We have to learn to collaborate with each other. We have to learn to be open-minded. And I think this is the reason why I'm not facing so much challenges. What I'm facing is just getting that information over to Africa. And I'm connecting with various companies, governments. And one of the great things that I just discovered, we just had a meeting with His Highness and his team. Now they are going to be the eyes and ears for us, the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce in Africa. So that's what we need. We need to know how to change things and not continue with the old culture. Okay. So yeah, it's working. It's working.
That's beautiful. I would like you to tell us briefly, how many kings and queens of Africa have you met personally? If you don't mind sharing that with us, Dr. Melida.
No, not at all. Well, the first king I met, it was when I was invited for the Pillar of Peace in Ghana.
All right. Okay.
And remember that? Yes, yes. And you were more excited than me because I don't know where I was going, what I was going to do. But His Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, I met him, and I am not going to mess these names up because I can't. I'm going to tell you. I know I met in the meeting that we just had with His Highness Roots of Africa. And I'm going to tell you, Queen Nana, I've met her. I met quite a few, but they will have to pronounce the names. actually, there were, how many kings and queens there? About 23, 20 something. Yeah. And it was amazing. But I've met quite a few of kings and queens in Africa. And I'm going to tell you guys something, the audience. I did not know that kings and queens existed in Africa. That was a metaphor for us from this region. So His Highness and Her Highness is introducing me to many kings, many queens. Actually, the queen, or is it the princess of Shaka? The great granddaughter of Shaka Zulu.
Senatemba Zulu.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's give His Highness the opportunity to mention some of these kings.
Yes, go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Well.
Go ahead. Yes.
I might make my audience sleep, but as we told you, we are a network of kids.
Right.
I am just we work through them. They are our seniors. We found them there. They advise us. They guide us. And I would like to give much recognition to one of the great sons and spiritual leaders of Africa, His Royal Highness King Bongani III of Embo Kingdom in South Africa.
South Africa, okay.
As you may remember, Dr. Barrow, he's one of the kings who stood before you and apologized for the errors committed by the kings 400 years ago. So it is a taboo for a king to go on his knees. But His Royal Majesty King Bongani went on his knees before all of us and all the people during Roots of Africa and apologized to our brothers and sisters for the errors and mistakes that our ancestors made during slave trade. That is a king.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
So obviously in our network we have quite a number of kings. Ghana, we have the Gamanse, King Teki Taiko, His Royal Majesty King Afram III. We have King Taka, Cameroon. We have Goodwill. We have the ones who are there. We had quite a number of Queen Mothers. There's Nana Soma, I think Sachi the First.
Yes.
And quite a long list of them.
Yes.
Quite a long list with them.
Do you have some in the Nigerian from Nigeria and all of that?
Yes, in Nigeria we have the Yoruba princess King Toyin, who is our country representative in Nigeria. She's a Yoruba princess. Her father-in-law is the king. I think the Ife.
Okay.
So we've just entered Nigeria.
Okay.
But for the journey of atonement, we aim to have a king from each of these countries. We believe the people from Latin America came from Nigeria, came from Ghana, Angola, and the Congo, and South Africa.
Wow.
So our purpose is to have all these kings in this entry to the Americas.
Yes.
This is very powerful. If you're watching, this is the Progressive Mind Show, and we are privileged to be hosting His Highness Paul Eganda and his beautiful wife, Her Highness Grace Eganda, and also Dr. MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW, who is the founder and president of the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce. It is 6:45 p.m. Central. We are here in Chicago. The weather has been great yesterday and today, coming from a very hefty snow week. And so we are blessed that Chicago actually has 44. The weather was like 40 degrees yesterday and today. So we are thankful. We only missed Captain Mike's segment today. We would have gotten more information on that, but hopefully we can get him next week. If you're watching us, please share the feed on Facebook so we can get this message out. It's very, very important. After in 15 minutes, when we cross 7 p.m., after 7 p.m. Central Time, we will be going into the journey of atonement proper. Okay. So remember, this tonight's topic is Kings and Queens Journey of Atonement, Unity to the Americas and Caribbean. Why that? Why that? His Highness just mentioned a glimpse of something that happened. You know, a king going on his knees and apologizing, going on his knees before Dr. Barrow, who is American Caribbean. No, she's African. She calls herself African, so she's African. and apologizing to her. Why would a king, like he said, like His Highness said, it's a taboo for any king to go on his knees because he's a king. Kings don't go on their knees. So this should sink in. It is very powerful what we are talking about, what we're dealing with, and what is to come. And so we ask you to take this in and share the feed because the conversation is very, very important. And like I said, at 7 p.m. Central, we would like to go into that. Right now, we just want to get into. We want to know them. We want to know them. His Highness, you have. I'm sure after 3 years. First of all, what gave you the vision? What was the impetus for you to say, you know what, there's time for us to create such a powerful organization? And within my amazement is that you mentioned, if I'm correct, you said you have 500 to 1,500 kings and queens from Africa. Correct me if I'm wrong.
About 745 from different countries.
Okay, 745 in 3 years. First of all, tell us why you had this vision and some of the challenges you've had so far in 3 years.
AIDO's model is to try to see we are a platform.
Okay.
We are in a position to help our people.
Okay.
So we are frustrated with the dealing direct with the politicians to deliver development to these people. Most of our kings and chiefs, they are no longer as powerful as they used to be because the political system has changed things. But we also know that if we want a project to take off, we can rely on a traditional leader, a king, a queen, because they are there to stay. They are not going anywhere. So we say, why don't we get partners who want to do something in Africa? Instead of going through the normal political system, why don't we try to champion through the king? Because kings don't go anywhere. They stay with their people. They own the land, the community there, the customers are from the same people. So we started by experimenting that with the other kingdoms that understood or who are willing to. So with the time, we kept inviting these kings to Europe, to Germany, and we used to have this conversation. What can we do? How can we empower you? Okay. So later, some of the kings, so actually we had a point and they said, why not? So slowly, a number of kings started joining us and we created a chapter. So in each country, when you create a chapter, normally you find that the leaders in that chapter, they are either queens or chiefs. So they bring their own friends there, that this is what we are trying to do.
Okay.
It made our work easy, even if you do not understand the language. Okay. So those queen mothers and the chiefs bring their own from different traditional areas or from different kingdoms. Okay. So obviously not all kings subscribe to what we are doing. Some obviously for their own reasons may not see it this way. But as I said, we work with the coalition of the willing. Okay.
That's
less is more. But we are sure that if we decided to fill up a plane to Americas, we can fill it too with the kings and queens, because we've demonstrated that before. Okay, so we know that if we, for example, if the Americas want to trade with Africa, the most mistakes our brothers and sisters do, they go and do business politically. Okay, then they come back and say Africans are corrupt, this and that. Obviously, it will be difficult. But what we said, like AIDO established a business wing called AIDO International Business Committee. We selected people from each country who are royal and experts, connected to a kingdom in a way, okay, and also those who have known, so that when our brothers come to Africa, they make sure that the AIDO business wing has already sorted the land, the licenses, the permits, all the government bureaucracy is handled. So when you come to Africa, let's say you come to Ghana, you don't need to go and look for the minister or somebody to help you settle down. No. IBC will handle that through the AIDO chapter and the king in that area to make your life a little manageable environment to settle down. So this was a missing link, because we know these guys are there to stay. They would want you to settle in their kingdom. They will provide for you. They will give you protection. Okay. So we experimenting on this model, and the willing kingdoms are happy. Let them come. There's land here. Build a school, build a hospital. This is our contribution. We give you the land. You build a hospital. So such a king or a chief is there to stay. So that is the model that we have used to make it attractive for the other chiefs or kings to come along with us.
Now, quickly, what has been the challenges so far, if any?
Of course, there are always challenges.
Okay.
Other countries, I wouldn't say we work well with the governments. I can say we've done well with the government, but obviously there is always other people who may not see things that way, who will look at it a political movement, or possibly will not see things your way, and they will always interference here and there. And we have also not really brought all other kings into our organization. That's still work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah, as you know, in Africa, other kings are bigger than others, but a king is a king. Even if it's a king over 10 people, one person is still believed by his people, his community.
Yes.
So king, chief, elder, opinion leader, all those are custodians of their people. So for us, as long as you're an opinion person, holder in that community, we are good to go.
Okay. Her Excellency, help us establish help us establish the role of kings and queens within the African tradition or within the African settings. How it has impacted and helped our civilization, economic development, maybe decades ago, and how significant it is that as a people, even though we have evolved and we have become so, I would say, sophisticated with modern technology, and we are drifting away from our culture. How significant was that in the past, and why should we start paying attention to this piece of our culture as Africans or as people from the African continent when it comes to our chieftaincy tradition?
Yeah, that is really a very important point of reflection. Culture is who we are. Culture is our roots. It's our identity. And therefore, our cultural leaders have a significant role to play in our livelihood and most of the things that have to do with our day-to-day living, our lifestyles in general. As His Highness said, it is true that due to colonialism and a lot of interference from here and there, the African structure of leadership, which was through the kings, queens, and I must mention, not all the African communities or societies necessarily called their leaders kings or queens. Even some refer to them as chiefs, some refer to them just as elders, but each of these had an area of governance and were leaders at the same level in their own rights. So it is, I'll give an example of a household. Just because one parent has X amount of resources and the other parent has X or X number of people in their household and the other one X, does not make any parent less than the other. So we need also to recognize that sometimes the issues of divide and rule is what, you know, it was never really part of us. And these are some of the theories that were brought to weaken. So let us recognize that. Okay. But going back to the roles of the cultural leaders, I'll call them cultural leaders, so it embraces kings, queens, cultural leaders, chiefs, elders, and everyone. Absolutely. They have a very central role in firstly keeping their communities together, the community cohesion. You remember back in our history when some forces did come to, you know, the era of slave trade. Right. We had some, I know some of our leaders were misled due to lack of understanding. And that's why we were saying 400 years later, it's time for atonement and forgiveness. So when they were given, as it is said, little mirrors and they could see reflection, they got carried away. But I'm sure it was due to lack of knowledge. They say the word of God says that people perish due to lack of knowledge and understanding, because you need the knowledge to have the understanding, and then you need the understanding to have the wisdom. But anyhow, having said that, these leaders have a central part, but we do know that there are some of our leaders who resisted and fought against all this, and they tried their level best. Some of them were even women. Unfortunately, you know, due to the imbalance in power, you know, they were overtaken. But regardless, we have leaders today who are standing up, as His Highness mentioned. Leaders are kings and queens and leaders who are standing up for their people, keeping their communities together. And if you're coming, for example, to Africa to invest, and you're looking for things to do with land, these are the custodians of land. Governments who change every 3, 4, 5 years. Well, apart from, of course, those who believe, you know, they've got absolute power and want to stay longer. But the cultural leaders are there. They're a sense of security. They are there to stay. Right. So when investors come, they have that security that if a cultural leader embraces them, they have that sense of safety. Not only that, the cultural leaders, the role they play in propagating and supporting, you know, the loyalty, developing the loyalty of the people, because you need loyal people. You know, there's loyalty against disloyalty. But the cultural leaders have a central role in bringing that cohesion and loyalty and resolving those disputes. You know, our cultural leaders had I'm sorry, I keep using cultural leaders so that I can embrace all the leaders with due respect and honor to them. That's fine. They had the structure of how did they manage disputes at that time. They have their own hierarchy of leadership. It was all done in harmony and in peace. You know, sometimes there was no rule, there was no mention of the rule of law, because this can be quite intimidating. But the approach was one of reconciliation, you know, and matters were resolved in such a manner, you know. So the role of the cultural leaders is key and central to upholding us as a people, especially under the standing and the understanding of our cultural ways and lifestyle.
Thank you so much for your submission, because it is believed by a lot of people, and I'll say Africans, that what has maintained the civility of the African community has been that leadership role that you said, the cultural leadership role that you said, the chiefs, kings, cultural leaders. They have helped to maintain some of the rich values and cultures that we have up until now. And look at you in London, but portraying the beautiful culture of Africa. And I'm sure that you're not only showing that within your sect, but you are impacting the world with the rich culture of Africa. And so very, very powerful what you're doing. Thank you for the submission again. It's 6:59 minutes to 7 p.m. here in the studios of Progressive Minds. We will take a short break. When we come back, we will want to talk about Kings and Queens Atonement of Journey of Atonement. Kings and Queens Journey of Atonement, unity to the Americas and the Caribbean. Why the Journey of Atonement? Where is it going to happen at? And we know it's Panama. And so we want to go into that. We also want to know more about the roots of Africa, the concept of the roots of Africa, which is a program by the AIDO Network International, Network International. So stay tuned whilst we take the short break. This is the Progressive Mind Show. We shall be right back after this. Okay, looks like we're having a little glitch here, but here we go.
Check out this beautifully made artistry of coffee tables made from a combination of recycled tires, jute ropes, wood, and fabric to suit your style. Yes, we make to order. These coffee tables can help you make a statement in your bedrooms, offices, and living rooms. But remember, we only ship within the USA and Canada after shipping cost is paid. Call Jasper Designs on 1-306-203-2650 or email us at dodoyaira@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Jasper Love or follow Pearl Yaira Agboka on Facebook. Don't be left out. Please place your orders now.
Are you looking for fast and reliable delivery services? Look no further. Bestman Delivery Services is here to make your life much manageable. We offer services such as grocery pickups, prescription pickups, food items, gifts, and many more. We go to your chosen pickup location and drop it after drop-off location. Contact us on our website at bestmandelivery.com or call us on 773-512-7013. You can also send us an email at bestmandelivery@gmail.com. Remember, we offer services such as grocery pickup, prescriptions, food items, gifts, and many more. That busy weekend that you need that extra hand, Bestman is here to make it much easy. If your weight is between 10 pounds to 40 pounds, Bestman got you covered. We have payment options such as credit card or debit card usage, PayPal, Apple Pay, or cash. You can also pay online. We are currently covering areas such as Bolingbrook, Romoville, Joliet, Woodridge, Lockport, Lamont, Naperville, Plainfield, Crest Hill, and other areas that will be coming up soon. At Bestman, your delivery needs is going to be fast and reliable. Your satisfaction is always our priority. What are you waiting for? Call Bestman Delivery Services now.
Joromi, I want you to love me. Joromi, baby. Joromi, Joro.
Welcome back to the Progressive Mind Show. This is Alinko, and we are talking about Kings and Queens' journey of atonement. This is the hour we want to go into why that, and before we have our guest come in to address this particular aspect of our discussion this evening. I just want to go through the comments that have come in so far. This is from Maytech Marona TV. She's I'm sure it's a lady because the picture looks like it. It says, blessings to each and everyone. Greetings to their majesties, Mr. and Mrs. EGANDA and Dr. MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW, founder of 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce. So it is, okay, thank you so much for your comment. As she says, my beautiful kings and queens. Rebecca says, great job, our dear king and queens. God bless you for all your work. This is from Silky J. Booker. He says, kings and queens. Thank you for your comment. This is Joba Tomasina Mendez. Says, good evening. Thank you so much, Joba, for joining us. Okay, so that was a response from our team. So John says, this is an amazing episode of the Progressive Mind Show. Thank you, Your Highness. Thank you, Dr. Harris. You are just another great figure from the Panama City. Thank you, my brother Alinko, for providing us the space to learn and share ideas that unite, build, and empower our communities. Another comment from May is, it's an honor for the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce to have the opportunity to contact the kings and queens of our motherland. We are building together a global option to development. Thank you so much. And another comment from Joba is, it is a pleasure to be on the show, knowing where you come from, what part of Africa you came, finding your roots. So many people don't know this. So thank you for that comment. He says, congratulations from Joba. And then May says, MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW, Africa and Latin America and the Caribbean must unite. It is time to unite, connect, and atone to embrace Africans, Caribbeans, descendants, and indigenous peoples. Thank you. She continues to say, no, I think we already had that. There's a lot of comments, and they've been on for some time, so please pardon me. I'd like to get all of them. John says, government policies are important in the success of initiatives like yours. How have you, in your retrospective organizations and roles, engaging your respective government and other institutions to achieve your goals? I think that His Highness Paul I had addressed that during his submission, but if my guest would like to take this on, please feel free to do so. He says, one last question. Your mission to rekindle the spirit of unity among Africans and their traditional institutions, empowering communities by way of sustainable developments and education, appear to be in line with the works of Dr. Ericana Chimbohari. Do you know her? Okay, so that's a great question. So I'll like to respond to that, but after this one. Says Silky J. Booker says, do we have accurate resources to help African Americans discover our heritage in Africa? I would like to know where my beginnings is in Africa. I think that's a very valid question. All the questions are valid. Hi, brother. The Returnees program launched by the president of Ghana has lots of resources. I am sure someone will provide an insight into this. Also, know that any country you choose to live in Africa is your country by right. You are the son and daughter of the African soil. You are a prince and a princess. He didn't add that. I just have to edit that. No, so your excellencies, would you want to, I don't know which one you would like to take. If you want me to, if there's a question that you want me to reiterate, I can do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Liko. Yes, Dr. Arikana is known to us and we support her initiative very, very much. We have not met in person, but she's definitely somebody who thinks like the way Dr. Melida is, and we all. So she's the kind of person who we shall be engaging. In fact, we are hoping that in our next Roots of Africa, we may invite her to be one of the guest speakers. Yes, she's a great lady and she definitely is on the right track. Thank you for that question.
Thank you so much for responding to it. I don't know if anybody else wants to respond to that or any other questions. A question that was
about the government.
Yes.
Yes, that is a very important question. You cannot. It is very important that we engage with the government, and as AIDO, we work in partnership. Our success is in partnership. What we do not know, we partner with those who know. Even when we deal with the kingdoms, we know the kingdoms have no sovereignty, but the kings and the chiefs are the fathers, are the parents of the politicians in the government. Where we cannot handle, those kingdoms deal with the government. But yes, we do work with the government because you cannot work in a country without a blessing from that government.
Okay, great response. Again, I don't know if anybody else wants to respond to any other question or comment that was passed. Please feel free to do so. Okay.
Yes, I want to respond to the unification of all of us. Someone mentioned of the Caribbean, Latin America, and Africa. I think it's important now for us to realize how important and how powerful we're doing it already. AIDO Network International, the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce, and many other organizations out there are doing what we are doing. The thing is that we all have to unite. What I'm happy about is that with the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce, so many are embracing this chamber. And I think it's because the unification starts with us. The reason, and I like what Her Highness said, is that the lack of knowledge is what's destroying us. And this is why I created this Global Chamber of Commerce, because we need to provide as much information to Africa. I did not know that Africans was not aware of so many things that happened during slavery. At that point, I started sharing information to His Highness about slavery. And there was a lot of things that he saw that he couldn't believe. So I think the awareness, I think the education, we need to share information with each other, because we don't know really during colonialism, those of us in the Caribbean or Latin America, what really happened. Why? Because we were being taught about Spain. We were being taught about Britain. We were not being taught about Africa. All I remembered in school was just the map. And I thought London, just London alone, I thought was bigger than Africa.
Yeah, you're right.
Their map is so big, and Africa was so small, until I came to the United States, and I said, oh my God, I have to start researching about who we are. And once I began to research about who I am, that's why I am connecting now with Africa, because I need to know who I am. I only know just the surface of who I am. But the thing is that the Caribbean and Latin America, we need to unite, and don't let language prevent you from uniting. This was done by design. So we have to uplift all of these things. We have to realize now, when they tell me that brothers and sisters can't work together, that's a lie. That's completely a lie. Because what's not making us work together is the lack of information. So let's provide the information to each other in order for us now to unite, and that is the key.
Thank you so much. And this question is also very important. I'd like to know if any of you want to respond to it. It says, do we have accurate resources to help African Americans discover our heritage in Africa? I would like to know where I don't know if Her Excellency or Dr. Melida would like to respond to this.
I think Her Excellency would be the perfect one to answer that.
I will not be claimed to have the right answer here.
Oh, okay.
But I did attend a workshop that was held between Her Imperial Majesty Queen Sheba III with one organization from America, that they had established a DNA center that can trace your DNA to its house of ancestry. That can trace your DNA to a certain part in Africa.
Are you trying to call into the show?
Yes, but we also know historically now through research that some certain countries in America came from certain parts of Africa.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I'll give you.
So
I'll put you.
It is sometimes there are similarities. For example, when I look at Dr. Barrow, her features and her behavior, in my own sense, I would think she came from somewhere in Ethiopia. So there are similarities that you can place through traits and the way. But I know other senior kings above me and the rest, they would be able to look at you and possibly give at least an estimate of where you came from.
Oh, good. We have a caller online who wants to contribute to the show. Okay, yes. I think we held him for a long time, so the call went off. The number to ring is on the screen. It's actually on the screen that you're watching right now. It's on the right corner of the screen. It's 815-277-5047. I think we have a caller coming through. Let's see if you can pick this one here. Okay, so caller, tell us your name and why you're ringing.
Hello?
Yes, you are live on the Progressive Mind Show. Please go ahead.
Yes. Dr. Alinko, thank you for this beautiful show. I'm enjoying it. This is Dr. Wale Idris, Africa USA Today Magazine. Keep it live. You're doing good.
Thank you so much. This is one person who always likes to call me doctor. And even though I haven't gotten that title officially, but I would always take it from you. And I'm honored, Dr. Wale, for contributing to the show this evening. Of course, you're also a brother who has been championing the cause of Africa in the diaspora for many, many decades. So thank you so much for your contribution. His Highness and her Highness are all on the, they are all listening to you. Dr. Barrow is listening to you. If
yes,
you
I
have
saw
any...
her picture. She's looking beautiful. I saw her picture. She's looking beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, she can hear you. So if you have a question or comment for her, you can go ahead and say directly to her. Don't pass it through me now.
Hey, Dr. Barrow, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you? It's been a long time.
I'm doing fine. Yeah, I know. Just keep on doing what you're doing. You inspire me a lot, and I'm sure I'm speaking for many people. You inspire us a lot. Taking your show international, not just in Panama or Africa. You are everywhere.
Thank you.
Thank God for your energy. Continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Marvelous.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Later.
All right, my brother, Dr. Wale, thank you again for ringing in. You can share your opinion or call into the show. It's 815-277-5047. If you, wherever you're listening, you can call and, you can wish them well, ask a question, pass a comment. It's all fine. This is the platform where we all engage to make our society a better place. So feel free to express your view. So thank you, Your Highness, for helping to explain that question. My brother, Silky, I hope it was done to your satisfaction. There are so many resources out there, and reason why the Progressive Minds, the Sith Region, and being very glad of knowing the AIDO Network International. Of course, I'll be glad to, work with you. Is that there are folks in the diaspora who are longing to connect with the African community or the African continent. They are longing to interact with the culture or get to know about the culture. The good thing I have seen with the African American community, and let me say this, we are still in the month of Black History. So this whole program is designed to fit into Black History. And today happens to be the last Wednesday of February, which is Black History Month. And so in the spirit of Black History Month is one of the reasons why we designed this program. My observation is that the African American community try a lot in getting to know the African culture. They read about us, they take trips to Africa, and they're curious about our culture. They eat our food, they come to our festivals, our parties. And I say it all the time that I haven't seen any African or Caribbean festival in the diaspora that is not patronized by the African American community. And I believe that many of our festivals in the diaspora have succeeded and have grown and have gained recognition as a result of the help of the African American community and their patronage. What I have not seen is the reverse. And so as Africans and Caribbeans, it's also our duty and a responsibility to try to know the African American culture because they have one, to try to know their community because they exist, a bunch of them. They have an economy of over $1 trillion and counting, right? They have the most billionaires in this part of the world than any other ethnic group. I mean, any other African or Black African ethnic group, right, so to speak. Now, all I'm saying is that there are so many reasons why Africans and Caribbeans in the diaspora ought to reach out, in as much as they are trying to reach out to our community to learn about us. My brother Silky just asked a question. How can he discover? How can he know the African heritage? How many of Africans say, you know what, African Americans have our heritage too. So how can we also know the African American heritage or the African American history? It is very, very important. After all, we live in their community, we live in their society. We came from Africa. They built the diaspora. So having built this diaspora for us to enjoy, it is only fair that we try to be aware of their history, their story, and what they're about as well. So that was just something I wanted to let out there. But let's look at the journey of atonement itself. Your Highness, you spoke about the roots of Africa. Give us the brief background of the roots of Africa and how it connects to the journey of atonement?
Thank you very much, Brother Linko. Actually, I'm even happy to refer to you the way the former caller did as doctor, because this show, I thank God for this ministry He's placed in your hands, because this is a healing show. Communication, we all know, is a breakthrough to, to so many aspects of our lives. So, if the healing is taking place in the communities or the mind, I think it's befitting to refer to you as doctor whenever possible or whenever need be.
Hey, I received 10 hands.
Yeah. So as I begin to talk about the roots of Africa, I just would like, first of all, to honor my dear sister. I know she's our partner. We have a strong partnership, but to me, she's become more than a sister. For linking us together to start this journey that is taking us back to our roots. And when I say sister on this show, of course, it's Dr. Melinda Harris-Barrow.
Yes.
She's been a visionary, and she's just given us deeper insight into what we were already doing. I just believe this is the right time. This is the appointed time. And together we are going to do our bit in effecting that change that we so much desire. With the Roots of Africa, this is a cultural program. AIDO, as has already been said, is a cultural organization or a network that uses culture as a tool or a vehicle to create unity, development, and social change. So this program, Roots of Africa, is a cultural program that is going to be aired on various social media, that is going to tell the African story the way we understand it as Africans, the way we have lived it. It's not something we've read in books. It is something we have lived and experienced. For example, if I gave you a certain phrase or a bit of humor in Africa and you translated it into another language, the meaning could be lost in between. Or, for example, maybe if I may use the analogy of the elephant, it is said that at one time, 6 blind men tried to touch an elephant, and each of them came out with their own version of what an elephant was. One said it's like a string, just because what they touched was the tail. The one who touched the trunk had his own version, and so on and so forth. But for me, who lives with the elephant, I understand the elephant, and I believe if I describe and tell you about the elephant, it will be more comprehensive.
Yes.
Hence, the Roots of Africa.
There you go.
So this cultural show is going to just encourage, because when we put forward culture, but don't forget, as AIDO, we have a human rights arm, because there are aspects about our culture that we are also addressing, that we are saying in this day and age, this is not right. Because you've lived it through the years, you think it's okay, it's the norm. But that's again where we go, as Dr. Melinda said, lack of knowledge. But we are just slowly in harmony. Because when you're approaching culture, you have to do it in a spirit of peace and love. If you come up saying, under the law, human rights, this is this, then immediately there will be resistance, because people don't know any better. But if you approach it as an empowerment and a supportive program, people will embrace it. And as I said, again, we are having these programs weekly, and we welcome other people. Everyone is welcome to the network to be part of it. Later on, we shall give details. But going back to the Roots of Africa, this program is going to look at the different aspects of our culture, that the beauty of the culture, sometimes that have not been portrayed in depth. And we have looked at it as a journey through Africa, looking at a day in, or a year or a week in one's life, down in the rural grounds, the traditional lifestyle. So what's happening is, if you look at a book, it's got chapters, and each chapter builds up the story. So instead of chapters, in this story about the Roots of Africa, we have categorized the chapters as baskets. We've got different baskets. These are the episodes that are going to develop the storyline. We use the symbol of the basket because this is something that reflects, in an African community, the basket is used for gathering, for collecting, for storing. So then when we upload or when we empty that basket, we are showcasing those aspects. I'll not go through everything. There's 10 baskets. I maybe for purposes of just illustration, I'll use maybe 1 or 2. For example, and each of them will be shown in seasons, and this will be running through this year and carried on to next year. For example, when we approach, we are planning to start with the basket of health in the month of March. The basket of health, because we just felt it's appropriate during this pandemic season. So with the basket of health, when we look at it, we want to see what was it that we did concerning our medication back in the day that we are not doing today. We are trying to promote our African traditional methods of healing and the herbs. Our grandmothers, they never knew where a doctor is or a dentist. They never had a problem. They were blessed by God's grace and have a healthy and long life. So where are we going wrong? We appreciate what the pharmaceuticals have to do, but where have they crossed the mark? Or where do we need to come in, you know, and support our own home industries in this regard? Because we've got professionals who are ready and who want to partner. That's where the 6th Global Chamber of Commerce, you know, Global Region Chamber of Commerce comes in under the leadership of Dr. So then we look at, and the other thing going back to health, you know, you look at the pandemic today, we say, what is it that, you know, Africans are doing that we believe God's grace is over them, that, but how have they managed it better? So all these things need to be looked at, you know, and then we go to another basket that the following month. And of course, when we do this, we are collecting and showcasing practices in all our chapter countries. And then we move on to another basket. We say language. Language and expression is who we are. So how are we going to promote this one? You know, how has, you know, the breakdown in language, how has it affected us and our understanding? Then we go to food. Food is who we are. You know, what, and the cuisine. How did they, the whole process, you know, what has gone wrong with the food today? Why is it that a mother and father taking their child from the Western world, going to Africa, going home for holiday, has to carry a packet of cornflakes? Isn't there organic food that is, you know, fresh from the fields? So we are trying to promote this food because we believe it played a big part in our social life and even in our health as a, you know, as a community. So these baskets, to summarize, are going to be unfolded. And we believe that by the end of the series, you know, people will have, as Dr. Barrow said, will have been educated. They will be entertained because it's going to be very entertaining. But most importantly, they will also be educated, and maybe a mindset will also have shifted. And this will lead into something else that I think we shall discuss about concerning the journey to.
It's huge. I think, Dr. Barrow, what we should have done is host AIDO separately and then bring you on later because it's just a lot. No, but it's beautiful.
No, I think, Alinko, no, I think it's fine. I said that.
No. I just said that lightly. You know, I said that lightly. No, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way than have the two groups. No, seriously, because you know, it's informative, it's refreshing, it's healing. One powerful word that Her Excellency used is healing. Yes. And I think that goes, exactly, that's the purpose. That goes to the foundation of the roots and then even the journey of atonement. Let's talk about the journey of atonement, Dr. Barrow. You would know, I'm sure before you connected with AIDO Network, you have been dreaming of this.
Yes.
When we did the events, when I asked you, when you came to the exchange, the exchange event with it in 2019, which you were the main speaker, it was supposed to be a spiritual healing, something of healing in an era of 400 years and year of return and all of that. So tell me the concept and why we are talking about the journey of atonement in Panama 2022. Very, very important. Walk us through it. I know it's about 7:30. There's a lot to be said before we end the show in 30 minutes, but help us briefly understand that concept, and then we can ask His Excellency and Her Excellency to come in as well.
Sure. First of all, the first word, journey. I didn't want to call it conference. I didn't want to call it anything else but a journey because it continues. It's nothing like celebrating your history for 29 days in the month of February. And I am just tired of watching how Europeans are telling us how long we should celebrate our holidays, all the things that we need to do, and then it stops. Then another year, it starts again. Well, this is different. This is a journey. The journey of atonement. What happened is that my African brothers and sisters never came back and got me. And my ancestors has been telling me for a long time, I think from the time I was born, let them come and get us. They have to come back and get us. And not just come back and get us, but there has to be an atonement. Why didn't you come for me? Why? And then it has to be a reunification and unity. So when I present this to His Highness, they agreed. Because there's so many of us that's suffering. African Americans, all of us in the world, we're suffering. Not knowing that we have a place to go. But not everyone can go to Africa. So I said to His Highness, you have to come to us. My brothers and sisters, my kings and queens, you have to come back for your children. And I think at that point, I realized this has to be a healing. Why is it that we're fighting with each other? Why is it that all this chaos is happening in our community? Is because we really don't know who we are. And once you know who you are, once you know where you came from, then you know where is home. And this is why when people tell me, what are you, Latina? What are you, Afro-Panamanian? What are you? No, I'm African. You see, because no one in the world but us keep telling ourselves that we are descendant of Africa. No, we're Africans. I've never heard a Chinese say that he's a descendant from China. I never heard an Italian say he's a descendant from Italy. They say they're Italian. And that's why I say I'm African. So this journey is to be historic. This has never been done before, ever in history.
Yeah.
This is the first time now kings and queens are coming back to our region for us to unite. This is historic and international. You see, this is global.
Right.
They're not just going to stop in Panama. Panama is the first country. So we're going to make history, the first country in 2022 where our kings and queens are coming to the Congolese in Panama. We have the Angolans, we have the Congolese, and most of all, we have the Caribbean that came to Panama from different parts of Africa to build the canal back then. So we have a variety of Africans in Panama. How amazing now that this is going to be kings and queens in Africa going out on a pilgrimage to reunite with their last children. That's history, and that's a part of the healing that we need.
Okay.
So, yes.
This is powerful. You mentioned some things that I really want you to read. You're saying there are Congolese,
Yes.
part of the makeup.
We have the Congos in Panama from slavery. We have those from Angola, from many African culture. One of the beautiful things of the Congolese in Panama, they're still celebrating the culture. They're still celebrating the culture. So this is going to be amazing, where His Highness is going to bring the kings and queens from Congo to meet their children, their lost children.
This is powerful. This is very, very powerful. Somebody will ask, why Panama? Give us a little composition of the strategic. Also, help us understand the strategic position of Panama within the Americas or the South American region, if that's correct. Because the reason why I'm asking this is, even though you all are calling me doctors, and as highly as you all regard my intelligence, I don't know much about Panama. So I don't know if I can claim the doctorate title. No, but I'm just joking. But no, but I know Panama is a country somewhere in South America, maybe. But
it's an isthmus.
Okay. So
it's in Central America, Panama, you want me to explain?
Yeah.
Okay, Panama is considered Central America.
Okay.
That's number one. Panama also has the Panama Canal. Panama has the second largest free zone in the world. Panama has the service of offshore banking. Panama has so many things that other Latin American countries don't have. So why Panama is because when we are when our African kings and queens arrive, not only are we going to deal with atonement, we're going to deal in business. We're going to have conversation when it comes to business. Most Africans, and I would say probably 99.9, I should say that, but have no idea that we have the second largest free zone in the world.
No, we
the
don't.
First is Hong Kong. So by coming to Panama, there's a lot of services that we can begin, companies, businesses, and that is a key location because that's the hub of Latin America also.
Dr. King, it's very powerful that you were saying this. I have been just educated in a very powerful way, because Panama wouldn't be a city that you would even consider if you're trying to do business in South America. I think most of the cities that you would think about is Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
And can I explain why?
Yes. I want you to explain why, because we know Brazil, maybe Costa Rica to a certain extent, but mainly Brazil. So please help us understand why.
Let me explain why. And these are a lot of things that most of us don't understand. Remember, you were colonialized by the Portuguese, right? So whomever colonialized you, that's where you're going to do business. So most Africans, when they speak about Latin America, the only place they mention is Brazil. So what we are going to do, the 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce, we are going to open up Latin American to them. Remember, you were designed to do business with your colonializers. You were not designed to do business in Panama, you see. So now what we are going to do, we are going to present Latin America from Brazil to North America, that is considered the Americas. So because you have not done business there, that's the ideal place now to start. Why? Because once we start in Panama, Colombia is right next door. Costa Rica is right next door. So now all these countries are going to come to Panama and celebrate this atonement. The world is going to celebrate this atonement.
Great.
So that's why Panama. Yes.
Okay, that's why Panama. How does the African community, engage in this atonement journey? Yeah, because I mean,
it's important. It's important, Alinko, that they participate, because this is not going to be a Panamanian event. This is going to be a global event.
I got you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. So
it's just at the location that we picked, but this is going to be definitely a global event.
Okay.
Yes.
So the location of picking up Panama is more strategical than anything else, because somebody will ask, "Oh, why not America? Why not
It's coming though.
Okay.
That's coming.
Okay.
That's definitely coming. Let me just say this to the audience. Panama is number one. That's the location. Don't focus on the name of the country. Just focus on the location. Then from Panama, we're going to travel the world.
Okay.
We're going to travel the world. So I hope His Highness and Her Highness is ready for that.
Okay.
They didn't hear that yet. But it's the world. It is the world.
That is why you call it a journey of.
It's a journey, exactly. It's not a conference. It's not a program. It is a journey, as Her Highness and I always say. This will never stop. When I die, it needs to continue. It needs to continue, and that is the journey.
His Highness, before I let you all come in, there are comments on the platform that I want you to that I would like to read out.
Yeah.
One from John. He says, "No, Your Highness, Dr. Harris is from Cameroon."
I am? Okay. See, you were wrong, Your Highness. You were wrong. And I wish I could ask him why. Why from Cameroon? So start typing and saying, why from Cameroon?
Well, yes, John, she's asking why Cameroon. I think he just wants to claim you. He just wants to claim
I
you.
know.
You know, and I think maybe in the days to come, Your Highness, if you will, you might want to have to do a show on why. And I know, you know, John is a brother, and we call ourselves Ghanaians, Togolese, Nigerians, and all those names, right? And a lot of times, thank God, many people don't remain in this box of names, but we are able to reach out. But a lot of Africans stay within the names, and so we can look beyond the fact that I am Kenyan or I am Rwandan. If you are Zambian, you are a foreigner to me. Okay,
exactly.
even though we are in the same, you know, so we do that.
We're all Africans.
Yeah, we do that in Africa, and we even do worse of it in the diaspora. And so, in the days to come, we might have to go into breaking that barrier, that name barrier, right? So that we can start looking at each other as the same, at least. You know, I think it will help us a lot, because that is preventing us that is holding us back in this 21st century, right? In this 21st century, when, you know, Europeans and China and the Asians are doing extremely well economically and technologically, a lot of Africans are reveling in our traditional and cultural settings and in the names. You know, the fact that I am Nigerian and Ghanaian is it's more important to us than the African identity. And so maybe we'll have to look into that sometime. But Silko says, thank you. Thank you. That was very powerful, Brother Alinko. You are wise and you are powerful, and definitely a king and a doctorate intelligent.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Your Highness, maybe now that people are calling me king, I'll write an application. I'll have to cite to your organization to see if I qualify as a king. But no, my brother, thank you so much for your beautiful comment. I much appreciate it. You and others make our community a better place. Some of us, we're just trying to see how best we can connect. And so we thank you so much, Silky, and everyone that has commented so far. Your brains and your passion and dedication is what we need to make our community a better place. So we really, really appreciate you. Johnny Wood says, most African kings and queens have sold their souls to corrupt politicians. Hence, they have become powerless. I don't know if Your Highness want to respond to this. That's my brother have a point here. In my opinion, I have seen that happen in Africa, but I don't know if you want to respond to this. But let me go through some of the points and give you the opportunity to respond to any of the questions that you want or the comments that you wish. Johnny Woods again says, well said, well spoken, Dr. Barrow. I remember you from the Sabo Museum 2 years ago. Yeah, thank you. Johnny Woods was at the exchange event, yes. And you blew people's mind, Dr. Barrow. After your speech, people were like, oh, who is this woman? When can we see her again? I'm like, she's not from Chicago. She's going back to Florida. And then John says, we claim you. Oh, okay. He says, John is responding to your question, Dr. Barry. He says, you are crowned the Queen of Cameroon. I have your ticket to Cameroon anytime. Your Highness, allow me to take her to her place of origin. All right. Thank you so much, John, for your comment. So, Your Highness, I don't know if you want to respond to this question, one of these comments quickly, and then we can the journey.
Yes. The question obviously is a sweeping statement.
Okay.
It is true. No country is perfect. There's corruption everywhere in the world.
Right.
But how you handle that corruption is what matters. Surely there are certain things. For example, we know that our ancestors participated in slave trade in one mode or the other. Okay. We apologize for this. It was wrong and it's still wrong up to today. Yes. In Africa, politics plays a very big role in many things. But you need to know how to deal with politicians. Politicians are normal people. They are our brothers, our children, and our friends. every leader, every politician has got a father, a grandfather, and a clan, and it comes from a certain kingdom. So there is always a way to relate with them. So it is not one broom to sweep everybody. No. So this is the mindset that we are trying to educate and say that if we do not stand out and try to do things the way we want, then we let others tell us what to do. So why do we see corruption in Africa and we don't see corruption in Europe? It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
So this is the kind of exchange that we would love to have with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. It is okay to speak when we're in the diaspora. In Africa, people possibly address this issue differently.
Right.
So I think he has a point, but he has used one broom to sweep everybody. I know quite very respectable kings and queens and leaders who are doing a very, very great job, and we really appreciate their work.
Right.
Like yourself. And one of the things, let me just say this real quick. One of the things, the meeting I had with His Highness just this past week, this is why I'm working with Network, with AIDO Network International, because they're going to be my guide in Africa. They're the ones that when I call and I said, I need to work with a bank, I need to do this, what they are going to do is guide me through, so I don't have to go through the red tape. I don't have to go through the corruption. And one of the things that another thing I want to say is that when we talk about corruption in Africa, we're not realizing that we've been programmed to constantly say the same thing about Africa, and we never say this about Europe. We never say it about India. We never say it about America, especially. But sometimes we're programmed to only deal with one particular country or continent. Why? Because we're not realizing that that's what's being said to us, and we're repeating it as though that the rest of the world is not corrupt. We have to be careful what we are saying to the people.
Okay,
right?
my only take, so brilliant. I think I'm just being I just want to be an advocate for folks who would have a pushback to what you said. Is that even though there's corruption everywhere, we know the Asian community, Europe, everywhere, the impact of corruption seem gravely on the people of Africa more than these other parts of the world that we're comparing to, right? So if you look at America, if you look at Asia, there's poverty everywhere, there's struggling everywhere, but it seems as though Africa's own impact of corruption is taking the people to a certain level where it becomes sometimes unbearable. And that's why if you look at immigration now, yes, the people who migrate from the South Americas and elsewhere, but you and I know some of the struggle and some of the risk that the youth of Africa would take just to come to Europe and America by the reason of escaping extreme poverty and hardships. Right? So I think that's why people are quick to have this have this sentiment, right? And so that is my advocacy, and I think that there's a lot of work to be done, which is what you are doing and which is what AIDO is also doing.
Exactly. We want to make sure, and this is how I look at Africa. Yes, their children are leaving Africa for better opportunities, but when we look at the world, there's so many other immigrants that are coming to the United States. When we use the word immigrants, we only think Black. We only think Haiti. We only think Mexico. We only think Latin America. We don't realize that there's so many immigrants from Russia, from Poland, that we never talk about. So our mind is already set that when you hear the word, you're only hearing Latinos, you're only hearing Haitians, you're only hearing Africans. So that's my point. That's what I was saying. We are programmed to only think one way. So in America now, there is a lot of corruption, but you don't know it.
And
you're not exposed to it.
That's that. I mean, you don't know it. It's true. And sometimes that's true. And sometimes I advise my friends when they post all type of images about Africa on social media. I'm like, look. Sometimes we have to be circumspect on some of the things that we post on social media because there's problems everywhere, and we have to at least know how to brand Africa and promote Africa in a positive light, because we have a lot of positive things. So you have a great point, and I completely agree with you. Your Highness, regarding the journey of atonement, I think this vision lies heavily on people that fall within your network or your organization, or at least the people that you represent. So as a leader of this whole journey, you know, now that you're working with Dr. Melida on this whole thing, this new phenomenon that is going to be going on for a long time, what is the role do you think that African leaders or our ancestors played in slavery, which is why you have taken upon yourself to be part of this journey in this era of ours?
Thank you very much, Mr. Liko. The journey has started. AIDO is fronting this journey from Africa. A number of kings and queens have already come up. Roots of Africa will play a role. One of the things we shall be doing, we shall be interviewing a lot of kings and queens from different countries just to prepare the mindset.
Yes.
Now, we don't only plan to go there, and we plan to do many things when we go to Panama. We believe that first of all is the healing. Indeed, we are sorry for the historical mistakes that our ancestors did play. But there's time for healing. If we do not come together and change Africa, nobody will do it for us.
Your Highness, before you continue, I would like to interject quickly. Again, I would like us to establish for those, again, there are younger ones and students who are listening and don't have any understanding of the history. Can you help us establish the fact that, yes, our kings and queens back in the day contributed to slavery? I mean, because there are so many arguments against this as well, saying, oh, you know, we didn't take part, we were only captured as prisoners of war. So can you help us establish if this was true, if our own people contributed to slavery, more so the leaders, the traditional leaders of Africa, which is why you are saying that you are sorry, if you can help us?
It is believed that some of our chiefs, kings, were involved in one way or the other, mainly because empires were expanding. They would raid other kingdoms, conquer, and possibly by the help of the people who are buying slave trade, or the Arabs, or the people from America.
Right.
So it is believed that they did participate indirectly or directly, but it is true historically. I mean, this has been said by very senior kings who have lived through generations, through their fathers, to tell the story. We know some powerful kingdoms participated in conquering other smaller kingdoms, and obviously the people in those kingdoms ended up being sold. So we are trying now to bring the chiefs and the kings of these kingdoms to be part of the journey of atonement, because our work now is try to educate them and also prepare them. Yes, this is what happened. Some of them actually do not know, because we were not actually taught this in school. It's now the research that we are actually doing and hearing from elderly kings who have lived through that time and passed on this information. So it is true. But our work here is to prepare the kingdoms, the kings, the queens, and the party that's gonna come to Panama. This already work is in progress, and this is one of the things Root of Africa will be covering.
Okay.
We are planning to come to Panama for this year to see. Then we also plan to invite our brothers and sisters from Americas to Ghana, where AIDO has its annual convention. This kind of meeting, we shall take them to the existing kingdoms within Ghana just to see how things are. So this, we shall be doing it every year, going to different countries arranged by kingdoms within our network, so that people who maybe want to move back to Africa, they start to understand how things are done there. So Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Southern Sudan. So we shall be doing this annually. Go to Panama, come to Africa. Go to Colombia, go to South Africa. So this will be building knowledge base
You
so
haven't
that we
mentioned
understand.
you haven't mentioned Chicago. You have to come to Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I know you.
Where
I know you're coming.
Europe,
Yeah.
Europe is handled by the 6th region. For us, we are in charge of Africa, anywhere
Oh.
in the continent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is our work. The Congo, Angola, those ones, we deal with that. That's what our network does.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my role is to make sure this is happening on our side.
Yeah. I want to ask Her Excellency, why is there a need for an atonement?
Yeah, my brother, what happens is when things have gone wrong, we cannot just keep, there are certain topics that are shushed. No one wants to talk about them in detail. Things are being swept under the carpet.
Right.
But we believe that sometimes coming up and acknowledging what went wrong. For example, Dr. Melinda was saying that the history she learned had nothing to do with her personal history. And that happens in most educational structures. And it's not surprising that many people are not aware, or if they are aware, they don't know the details. So we are saying here that what happened, happened. But however, as we move forward, there has to be healing, there has to be reconciliation. Before you move forward, after 400 years, some people are still hurting, and some people it's still as fresh as yesterday. Why? Because the impact has been passed over generations.
Right.
There are some changes that have been established in institutions that are still affecting us up to today.
Right.
You ask yourself, why wouldn't black be considered as beautiful? So there are so many things going on. But what we are saying is that let us establish that broken relationship. The 6th Region Global Chamber of Commerce has done what? They've built the bridge already. We just have to walk over it, connect with it, and move from point A to point B and continue until we, reach our desired destination. But this journey is extremely important because once the elders have come, once the kings and queens have come, they have atoned. They have said, as His Highness said, when one of our senior kings apologized, he said, I am sitting, but I am actually on my knees. That is the highest level of humility. And that is a true sign of true leadership.
Yeah.
Right.
So that we are saying, and as Dr. Melinda said, is that not everyone is able to come to Africa due to one reason or the other. We are planning some structures and programs where we say we can have the youth, maybe the exchange programs with the young people, because they are the ones going to move us to, the next to the next generation.
Right.
But meanwhile, the elders are coming. If I may use the analogy of the lost sheep, the missing sheep. A true shepherd, a true leader is a true shepherd. You go and find your missing sheep. You may have the 99, but you will not be at peace until you embrace that child whom you have not yet reached out to and shown love. So we are believing that this journey of atonement, this journey of reconciliation is key to every other things that we are planning to do, the tourism, the investment, all that will follow. But it's important that this connection is established.
The core of all of this is one powerful word that I want all of us to take home today, which is healing, right? Her Excellency mentioned it. Why this whole conversation is about healing. Because as Black people, we carry a lot of hurt. We have been hurt by our own selves, and we have been hurt by others. And so a lot of times, we walk around, we're smiling, we are great people, so we are able to contain our hurt, and we smile, we go about our day-to-day, but there is still a lot of hurt. Hurt among ourselves, hurt for each other. And so it's time, and maybe it's about time, that we, like Her Excellency said, take this conversation openly, take it to new levels, engage everyone, talk to each other. It's only by talking and engaging that we can understand and know each other. Because if I don't know you, I'm not even going to be able to listen to you. And the only way we can move forward as a people is start talking, start engaging, and which is what these great organizations and their leaders are doing. AIDO Network International, headed by His Excellency Paul Uganda, and Her Excellency Grace Uganda, Dr. MELIDA HARRIS-BARROW, who is heading the Sixth Region Global Chamber of Commerce. Huge organization with huge task. Sometimes I wonder how she's going to be able to go through all of these responsibilities, but she's always talking about them with a smile, as though it's easy, as though it's easy.
It's my passion. That's why when God gives you something, it's not hard.
Great.
It's just going to go smooth. So that's what I'm doing. Yes.
Now it's 8 p.m. The show has come to an end, and we would like to thank our audience and all of you who have contributed. We cannot close. We cannot close this show without taking the last words from our guest, our great guest this evening. And so, before we take our last words, Dr. Barrow, 2022 is what the journey is when the event is going to happen. Tell us the dates, specific dates, and maybe some of the preparations that you would want people to be doing now for 2022, briefly, and then we can go to His Excellency as well.
Yes, we don't have an exact date yet because we're still organizing.
Okay.
We have to have meetings with our government in Panama, which that's coming soon. And but the date, the year would be 2022. But His Highness and Her Highness will be joining the Expo Comer in Panama. That's going to be the 1st through the 4th of September, and the Kings will be coming. And I want to say just two things. I want my African brothers to remember something. Africa was just a land, one land, the whole continent. It was not divided to Nigeria, Ghana, and all these other countries. So all of us are one. All of us in the diaspora, remember this. We were taken by force and brought to the transatlantic to be slaves. Remember who you are. We call ourselves Panamanians. We call ourselves all these different names. But I just want you to remember something. We are all Africans, not African descendants. And that's my message to you today.
Thank you. I was going to wait for you to give us your last words. You just did already.
I just did.
Yes, did. Your Highness, before you give us your last words, can any king, how do you reach out to, how do you get membership of the kings and queens? Do you have a team that reach out to this in a proposal to individual kings and queens, or they reach out to you based on the work you're doing?
Thank you very much. AIDO has got chapters in different countries.
Okay.
And those countries are mainly headed by people of opinion leaders, church leaders, kings and queens.
Okay.
So through their own network, they know what we are doing.
Okay.
Some people do contact us directly through our website, which is aidonetwork.org. But mainly we do through our network. We've got several forums in different countries, but more through our chapters.
Okay. So you recruit kings and queens from Africa into your network through your chapters?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, thank you so much for clarifying that. Before you give us your last words, let me get this comment out. I don't know if it's a question, but it's from Akama Ikpe. She says, great conversations. I'm watching from Africa and completely agree with the need for the atonement. No truer form of reconciliation than the kings and queens going to see the lost children and welcoming them to the homeland. Grateful to AIDO Network and the Sixth region. Let me just say Sixth region. It's a long name. Congratulations. We know what I say.
Okama is actually our head of the economic development and trade. Awesome. She's an awesome woman. She's doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Okama, for your comment and spending this. I know it's about 1 a.m. in Africa, so thank you so much. Somebody reached out to me and said the timing of the show does not favor Africans and people in the African continent. Yes, we understand. So we are working on it. We are going to be starting another edition of the Progressive Minds on Saturdays and Sundays, and the time will be in the afternoon here, Central Time. So it will be about evening African time. So we have thought through this. It's just very challenging trying to get this thing even on a weekly basis. Trust me, it's been very, very challenging. And so we always urge our listeners and our audience to support us on our go on our website, theprogressivemindshow.com, and support us. We definitely have considered all of this, and we thank you for the inputs. We're going to be bringing the show other editions, similar conversations over the weekend, so we can engage you all on the continent of Africa and Americas and elsewhere. So thank you so much, my guest, my audience, for all the questions and the comments. But your last words, your Highness Paul and His Excellency Grace. I'm sorry, Her Highness Grace. I'm sorry. No, it's a mixture. It's a mixture. So I know you pardon me on that. But yes, Your Highness Paul, your last words, and then we'll go to Her Highness Grace.
I would start first of all by all the kings, queens, leaders, opinion leaders in Africa. This conversation is directed to all of you. Let's support, let's work together, let's unite. Let's welcome our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, in America. The next message is to our brothers and sisters in Americas, in the diaspora, Colombo. You are welcome home to Africa. There are a number of kingdoms and countries that are open. We welcome you. AIDO will work with you to find you at least where you want to settle. To our host, Mr. Aliko, Doctor, I think you did a very, very wonderful show today.
Thank you, sir.
May God bless you.
Thank you.
And keep doing what you're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the blessings. And it's even the blessing is even stronger and richer if it comes from a king. You know, hey, if a king says this words, hey,
I know, right?
So I would enjoy the blessings tonight and the rest of the days of my life. No, but thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. As busy as you are, you had a very huge organization. I was looking at your website, and you are partnering. You guys are partnering with a lot of reputable organizations as well. I was looking at your partners. I'm like, oh wow, you know, international organization, very reputable one. So, from all intents and purposes, even your website shows and tells that you are in business. You are covering everywhere. You have been doing this work legitimately and genuinely for the people and for a greater cause. And so it's very heartwarming to see what you have done and what in 3 years what you have done so far. And with the combination of the South region led by Dr. Melida as a dynamite, and I know that great things are going to happen. Dr. Barrow, you have shown leadership, you've shown passion to the community, to the world, and to me personally. You supported me. Had you not come 2019 to help with the exchange event at Dusabo, I don't know how it was going to turn out. And so your involvement last minute, I think it was a month or two to the event.
Yes.
You came in and you changed the whole thing. You made it happen. You know, God, you know, was the visionary, was the one that gave us a vision, but you came in and you changed it. So you've shown me a heart for the African people, or a heart for the world. It is golden. My prayer and what I always wish for is that God give you the life and the protection and the health so that you can succeed, because I know you have the heart for the people and for the world. Okay. And so I always appreciate you. Even though you're busy, you always take time to help everybody, including me and the Progressive Mind Show. And so I really want to personally extend that gratitude to you. And of course, AIDO Network International, Your Highness Paul EGANDA and Her Highness Grace EGANDA. I am very, very grateful for your time, you know, be on the show and the information that you've shared. And I hope that we can do this another time. God bless your heart. God bless your family. God bless your ministry. And on that note, to my audience who have helped so much, without you, we couldn't have done this. Bernard Nibote says, thanks, good job. Bernard Nibote just joined us. Thank you all for contributing. You are the reason why Progressive minds keep getting better. Let's keep engaging so that we can build a better community. Remember, to whom much is given, much is required. This has been your host, Alinko, with the Progressive Mind Show. Next week, Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m., we shall be coming your way again. And remember that we are working very hard to get our African and Caribbean audience into the zone, so you don't have to stay 1 a.m., 2 a.m. watching us. All right. Even though in America we stay to 3 a.m. I don't know why Africans sleep early. So, Dr. Barrow and Your Highness, thank you so much. We shall be doing this again very soon. All right. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.